Hi friends, very good morning to all of you and welcome to detailed editorial discussion. Friends, in this session I have taken an important article from the Financial Express and the article is Fix the livelihoods gap to save lives. Friends, the article is written by Ashok Gulati and BB Singh. Friends, as you all know, Ashok Gulati is the famous agricultural economist in our country and frequently, he keeps writing suggestive articles in both Financial Express and Indian Express newspaper. Okay, friends, we will go and see the article in detailed. Right, friends. First, we try to understand the scenario in our country at present. Right, friends. With COVID-19 hitting India like a tsunami, and the health infrastructure caving in, the country is once again staring at the issue of lives and livelihoods. Friends, this is the situation in our country. Okay, friends, when the Prime Minister announced a nationwide lockdown on March 24th, 2020, we saw the misery of migrants, workers. Right, friends? Still, we remember the images in various newspaper, like migrant workers walking hundreds of kilometers on foot, and the problems, several problems faced by various sections of people, like who dependent on small businesses and street vendors, how their lives have been affected. Right, friends? This time, the PM has left it to the states and advised that lockdowns should be announced only as a last resort. Friends, this time the Honorable Prime Minister left the choice of lockdowns to the state governments, and he also asked the state governments to take impose lockdowns only as a last resort. Okay, friends, if we see the case of Maharashtra and Delhi, the situation is already gone out of hand. It was becoming unmanageable without lockdowns. So they have already imposed lockdowns, and this triggered the exodus of migrant workers to some extent. Right, friends? The situation is like this. If things are not brought under control in the next 8 to 10 days, even the center could be forced to impose a nationwide lockdown. So even the center might be forced to impose lockdown if the situation will not come under control in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Okay, friends, let us try to understand some issues. Some important issues from the previous last year's lockdown and the response of the migrants and the issue of livelihoods of the migrants post the imposition of lockdown. Right, friends? Here the authors are focusing on case of migrants and the lessons, if any, from the first lockdown that has been imposed last year. So, friends, the questions the authors here are focusing on: where are the migrants, majority of migrants headed, and what are the employment opportunities for them at their native places. So obviously the majority of the migrants headed for their native places, and the focus was on what are the employment opportunities that were available for them, and how can the government help them in getting the livelihood opportunities. So friends, these are the three important questions here the authors focused in this article. Right, friends? To get some answers, the authors have conducted some survey, and here are the details of the survey. So friends, the survey is conducted by Inferential Survey Statistics and Research Foundation in collaboration with the ICR. So the survey covered almost 3,000 people, and it included the migrant workers from 6 states. Those are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and West Bengal. So these workers covered 34 districts from these 6 states. Right, friends? The survey was also conducted in 3 phases. These 3 phases are July to August of 2020, November December of 2020 and last week of February 2021. This is just before the COVID situation aggravating, and this is just before the second wave of COVID-19 virus. Right, friends? These states cover 2/3 of migrant workers at an all India level, and those who returned to their native villages or small towns during the first wave of COVID-19. So this is a good sample to take into account, and we can draw reliable conclusions. Okay, friends. So here are the results of the survey. Employment status of migrants at native place after reverse migration resulting from first wave of COVID-19. So friends, here the authors are calling this people going from towns to their native places. The authors are calling this as reverse migration, and after this reverse migration, the authors have examined the employment status, employment opportunities that are available to them at their native places. So friends, we go through and see the details. If you see the case of not employed, for the state of West Bengal, it is really high. It is almost 38%. And next, Uttar Pradesh. So states like Bihar and Chhattisgarh, the non-employed migrants is comparatively less. Right, friends? If you see similarly, if you see the non-agricultural labor, it is high for West Bengal, and even for it is much higher for Bihar and Chhattisgarh. Right, friends? If you see the self-employment, that is in agriculture, it is highest for Jharkhand, and it is similarly high for Bihar and Odisha. Right, friends? These are some details about their employment, and we will see in detail further in this slide. Right, friends? As per the survey, of the migrants who left cities and industrial towns for their native villages and small towns, so 35.4% had no employment. So this is a big number. Another 35.8% were involved in agriculture as a self-employed labor. Okay, friends, 9.7% worked as agricultural laborers, and 4.6 in MGNREGA and other public works, and 12.2% as casuals in other non-agricultural work. So the important the important things here to note are 35.4% migrants had no employment, and another 35.8% were involved in agricultural as a self-employed labor, and surprisingly, MGNREGA provided only employment for only 4.5% of the migrant workers. Right, friends? And these results vary across these 6 states. Now we will try to understand the different patterns across various states. Right, friends? Bihar migrants had the least unemployment, that is 3.6%. This we have seen in the graph. Right, friends? West Bengal migrants had the highest, almost 55% of unemployment, with the weighted average unemployment of migrants at about 35%. So Bihar had the least unemployment, and West Bengal has the highest unemployment, almost at 55%. Right, friends? Self-employed agriculture engaged 36% of migrants at their native place, with this ratio varying from 67% in Jharkhand to as low as 10% in West Bengal. So friends, for self-employed agricultural labor, 67%, this much percent is provided by Jharkhand, and only 10% in West Bengal. Right, friends? The situation did not change much even after 5 months of stay at their native place. So even after 5 months of their stay at home, the situation did not change much. Okay friends, as a result of this migration to their native place and the nature of employment and unemployment, the average family monthly income dropped from almost 14,300 to at the place of migration to just 2,000 rupees at the native place. Friends, this is a significant drop of 86%. So the average salaries dropped from almost 14,000 to just 2,000. Right friends, the returnees could not sustain their lives with such a huge loss in their incomes. Okay friends, no wonder by February 2021 end, more than 63% of these migrants had moved back to cities in search of work. So they cannot survive with sufficient income. So because of that, it is no wonder that the migrant workers moved back to cities of work in search of work. Right friends, now if lockdowns spread, their livelihoods will be threatened again. So if the lockdowns are going to impose again, their livelihoods will be affected again. Right friends, in this situation, what can the government do? So there are some options for the government, and we go and see one by one. Phase 1 of our survey showed that less than 5% of the migrants availed MGNREGA, which increased to 7.7% in phase 2. Friends, this is a small amount. Though it is increased to 7.7%, it is a minimal percentage. Right friends? Obviously, MGNREGA as a strategy to provide employment has not succeeded. Okay friends, it is quite possible that migrants are not interested in MGNREGA work, or MGNREGA has not reached their places in rural areas. So anything is possible between them. Even the workers are not interested in this work, MGNREGA work, or the other possibility is the MGNREGA work is did not reach the places of these migrant workers. Right friends, the survey also revealed that only 1.75% of migrants had Jan Dhan accounts, and 28.37% had some other bank account. So unfortunately, only 1.7% of the migrants had Jan Dhan accounts. Right friends, migrants benefiting from any of the government loan schemes, be it for agriculture or non-agriculture related, were abysmally low at less than 1%, and skill development was at less than 2%. Friends, they were neither getting the loans, beneficial loans sanctioned by the government, nor they are skilled. So the the beneficiaries of loans are less than 1%, and their skill development is less than 2%. Right friends, the only benefit they received was subsidized food, that is wheat and rice. Okay friends, obviously the programs that are taken by the government are not sufficient. Friends, these results indicate that existing government programs cannot provide gainful employment opportunities to the migrants at their native places. So now this is clear, because they did not get benefits from the MGNREGA, and they did not get benefit from the subsidized loan schemes from the government, and also they did not get benefit from the skill development programs for migrant workers initiated by the central government as well as the state governments. Right friends, one has to think out of the box for a special package for Eastern India based on infrastructure and industrial development. So as you all know, the Eastern India the large number of migrants hail from those parts of India, eastern part of India. So for this, that specific area, out of the box solutions are needed to take care of the migrant workers. Right friends, obviously agriculture cannot absorb more people, so it is already overcrowded. So agriculture is also not going to save and absorb the migrant workers. Right friends, now we will ponder some solutions. Right friends, engaging returning migrants in building new agricultural value chains has some potential to create productive employment and protect livelihoods. So engaging them in creating the agricultural value chains has some potential of generating employment. So friends, there will be double benefit. One thing is the migrants workers will be getting employment, and the second thing is agriculture itself will be benefited, and in the future farmers price realization might improve. Right friends, until that is done, the lives of these migrants will remain precarious. Okay friends, but in the meantime, as an immediate measure, we can do one thing, that is, if government can scale up its one nation one ration card scheme, this is going to help. Friends, if the government comes forward to implement the one nation one ration card scheme and make subsidized food grains available at places of work in cities and industrial towns, migrants can hopefully hold on for some more time before taking a call on moving back to their native places. So if the government implements the scheme of one nation one ration card and provides food grains at the places of work at industrial cities, the migrant workers may hold for some time from moving back to their villages, because if they go to their native places and villages, obviously they are not going to get any suitable or sufficient work. Right friends, as of today, the ground reality shows that much more needs to be done on this scheme to make it fully operational. So it is not at all ready. The scheme is not at all fully prepared to implement it on the national scale, friends. But luckily, government godowns are overflowing with excess food grains, and it may be useful to distribute at least a part of this to benefit migrant workers rather than incur high costs of maintaining these stocks. Friends, when the godowns of Food Corporation of India are overflowing, the maintenance cost is obviously high for the Food Corporation of India. So if government is willing to distribute the excess food grains to the poor, at least the Food Corporation of India can save the maintenance cost, and the migrant workers will be benefited. Right friends, some financial assistance under the Garib Kalyan Yojana can also be extended to migrants to help them remain in the cities of their work. So friends, previously also the government has provided 500 rupees to each and every Jan Dhan account. So this time also the government can think about that. Right friends, if they can be put under some group medical insurance, it will go a long way in protecting them against the COVID-19 onslaught. Friends, the COVID warriors, corona warriors, like the doctors, nurses, and the sanitation workers, even the police personnel have given the insurance cover as corona warriors. So if we can provide some insurance cover to these migrant workers, it will be a huge benefit for them. Right friends, but to do all this, one needs a robust database on migrants, which is currently missing. So as we very well know, there are no reliable database for migrant workers. Friends, census, the previous census that are 2011 census, they estimated between 35 to 40 crore migrants workers in India, but it is not, the data is not sacrosanct. So here you can see Congress is preparing a national database for migrants. So a political party is trying to prepare the database because there is no reliable source from the government itself. Friends, as a result, they are left to fend for themselves, for their lives as well as for their livelihoods. Okay friends, to conclude, no wonder then the migrant workers face two hard choices. One is, if they go back to their native places, their meager incomes drop by more than 80%. We have seen from 14,000 to they drop down to 2,000. And the second choice is, and if they stay back in cities, there is no one to help them. So the government should come forward and provide them with some help, like providing food grains under the one nation one ration card scheme, and providing some financial assistance through the Jan Dhan accounts. And the third one is giving them some insurance cover. So if the government takes these simple measures, we can definitely protect the migrant workers, and we can definitely provide some livelihood for them at the places at present where they are staying, and we can prevent them from moving to their native places or villages. Right friends, so this is all from this session. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Have a good day.